Trading cricket, racing and football, you're listening to the Sports Trader Podcast, brought to you by thesportstrader.com.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our horse racing webinar. What we're going to be doing today is having a look at the BetTrader software and look at some pre-race stuff and in-running stuff and just show you how to use the tools in the software. So we've got a race going on at Gowan Park at the moment, so we'll let that one go. We'll just go to Market Racing here, and I'll run you through what we've got in the way of tools. In fact, that's an earlier race, so we want the 2:30 race, and we want 2:40 Market Racing. There we go. We'll have that one there, and we'll come up and look at the tools up here in the top left. All right, so just working through the tools from top to bottom, the first one you've got is a stop loss. Now, all of these tools just open and close with this little plus sign on the left. So if we open that, you can indicate whether you want the stop loss to apply to every horse in the field or just a particular runner. So I just leave it on all field. You tick the box to activate the tool. Then you can set how many ticks you want to offset and whether you want it set to a tick or a percentage of the price. So I'll show you what it does. I'll just nip over to training mode so I can just click some buttons randomly and show you what's what. So if I've just got it set to 5 ticks and I go and lay a horse here, you see it just offsets the stop loss 5 ticks lower on the other side, and it's got the amount that I bet. So I lay 25 and I've put a stop loss in 25. So if I go and put a back bet in here and this back bet for 25 gets matched, that 25 down there will disappear. Or if 15 of this gets matched, 15 of this will disappear. And if the stop loss went down, it would just trade me out of the remaining 10. So you see there that the 25 pound got matched at 2.62, so the stops disappeared. Then I'll go and do it on a percentage, and I'll set it to, let's say, 20%. Okay, and I'll go and put a stop loss in there, and you see it drops the stop loss right down to 2.02. So if I lose 20% of the price, which at 2.54 would end up being 202. Again, if I go and put in a back bet there for 25, as it's matched, it will offset. So I normally just keep it on ticked. Now you've got the option to hedge. So what that will do is I'll just change that back to 5. If I go and put in a bet here at 256, you see now it's got a H on it. And what that will do, if it comes down, will effectively get me out for a £1.42 loss on every runner. So whereas at the moment this says minus 40 plus 25, if you've got the stop loss hedged, it will equalise the loss across all outcomes. All right, so if I just move that up a bit to show you, see if we can get it activated here. So there it's gone and done it, and you see I'm 39p red across every outcome. All right, so that's what the hedged one does. Because if I have that off, I'll just go and show you another one. If I just put one in there and then move it up to there to get it stopped out, you see what it's done is put the entire loss on that one horse. So I'm still 39p down on all the others, but the entire loss on that trade went onto the horse that I did it on. So that's just the only difference between having it hedged or not hedged. So if you did a stop loss, if I just went and put it in there and it came right down, then the only way you can lose money from that point is if this horse went on to win. The whole loss would be sitting on this runner, and if it got beaten, you'd end up with 0 because all of your loss is going to be on that horse. Okay? So that's the stop loss tool. I don't use the trailing or the ticked, but what it does, just to show you, if you tick trailing, is if I go and lay here at 258, now as this price rises, the stop loss will come up with me. So in theory, if I went up 5 ticks, then the stop would come up 5 ticks, and then if it came back down to that point, it would then stop me out. So it's just what's called a trailing stop loss. Okay, so see, it just moved up there to 252, even though we got in at 258, it's now on 4 ticks. And now it's gone up to 270, so it goes to 262. So now if it comes back to 262 and gets us out, we're going to be zero. If it keeps going higher, the stop will keep going. So you see it going up here and going up, and it won't trade us out until this market turns and comes back 5 ticks. So you see it's still chasing it up. Now it's starting to turn. It comes back and it gets you out. All right, so then you just hedge that up, and now you're green across all outcomes. All right, so that is the stop loss tool. Any questions on that one before we move on? No? Okay. So we can go and close that, and we go to tick offset. Now you can use tick offset a number of ways. Same as before, you can have it set to a tick or a percentage. Okay, if I have it set to 1 tick and I just go and lay here for 25, you see it offsets 1 tick higher, 286, and I'm done. So in running, I might set this to 3, 4, or even 5 ticks. Or you can set it to percentage again, and you can have it set to, say, 20 again. And if I go and do a lay here for 25, you see it offsets 20% higher at 3.35. Okay, and it will hedge it. So it's not backed £25, it has done 20.90. If I turned hedged off and I lay here at 278, you see it puts in a 25 bet at 330. Now what that means is if the 330 bet is matched for £25, all the profit will be on that horse, and you'll only get paid if you win. So if this horse matched that back bet at 330, then went on to lose, you'd end up with nothing. But if you've got it set to hedged, then it will do like this and just hedge everything across all outcomes. All right. So that's the tick offset. So I'll show you how I use that one in running when we've got a race coming up. The back bet tool just does basically what it says. You can select a horse. So say meet. Let's say this horse is a slow starter and you want to back it a bit higher. So you can say your bet stake, let's say £5 at, let's put a price in of say 4, and you can submit it. Now what you can do is you can put fill or kill with a stop loss, with a tick offset, and you can have plus or minus. So I might put in a plus, which means after the market goes in play. So if I set it before, as soon as the market goes in play, it'll cancel. So if I go and set this to 1 second, so you've got hours, minutes, seconds, 1 second after the race goes in play, you can see it's sitting down here, but it's not in the market yet at 4. So what will happen is 1 second after this market goes in play, it will submit the bet at 4. And you might do that on a horse if you think, well, I think it will drift and then come back to trade really well. It looks like a straightforward wicket for England there, but his umpire's not giving it out. Very interesting. Just looked like it's straight catch, walk off. Joe Root's deciding whether to go for the review, and they've decided against it. Very strange. I thought that was just straightforward catch. Anyway, back to the racing. Interesting. Right, so that will submit the bet 1 second after the race goes in play. So just go and cancel that one because we don't need that to happen. And lay does the same thing. This is the one where we can do a lay the field. Say you wanted to lay all the runners at a certain price at maybe in a sprint or something, I might set it for 10 pounds at 1.65 and submit. And you would do that 1 second after the race goes in play. So the fill or kill tool does just basically what it says. I'll set it to 5 seconds, tick the tool to activate it, and place a bet. So in theory, if this bet isn't matched in 5 seconds, it should disappear, which it's just done. And it does the same on the lay side. So you're basically giving the market 5 seconds to take your bet, or you're going to take it back out of the market. So I don't know why that one hasn't worked, possibly because we're just in training mode here, that it hasn't done it properly. But sometimes some of these tools are sticky in training mode, but they do work in real life. You see it's worked that time. So this might also be a good tool to use in running. If you see an opportunity and you put the bet in, you might want it to, say, pop down here to 270. So let's say it's just gone in play here, right? And you think, I'll just get in here at 274. And you put the bet in. What can happen, and it's happened to me even recently, is the price shoots up and you might have had like a few bets in here like this, and one or two of them get matched and the price goes up. And just as you're about to exit, it starts coming back down and your bet gets matched because you've forgotten about it. So with the fill or kill, it's quite handy to have it in there so that you don't sort of forget. But just double check that it is working correctly, because it is one of the tools that's been a bit sticky and definitely needs some work. So say we wanted to lay this one here at 9.8. So it should disappear in 5 seconds if we're not taken. Let's see what happens. It's got taken. But I think it failed. I think it was there longer than 5 seconds. I'll put one down here. But you get the idea anyway. And in normal mode, that's how it will work. So that's what the tick offset tool does. Drip feed is another tool that I never use, but I'll show you what it does. It's basically if you're using big stakes and you don't want to scare the market. So let's say we go and pick this favourite meat, and I'm going to have a stake amount of, say, £5 and a total stake of, I'm going to put the interval seconds in. I'm going to put it in 5 second intervals. 5 second intervals, and a total stake of 50. Okay, that's not worked. So 5 and a total stake of 50. So what happens now is if I go and click in here on this one, it shouldn't have done that. It should have done I should just submit, sorry. So cancel that. I went and clicked a bet. It's how long since I've used it. So if I click submit, you'll see it will start putting £5 bets in. So it's done one there at 248. There goes another one at 258. There goes another one at 266. It'll just do at the last traded price. There goes another one at 266. So it will keep putting these drips in. So it gives you an average price. So if the price keeps going up, it'll keep putting in the lays. Whereas if you put all of the lay in down here, you might not get it all matched. Also, if the price comes down a little bit, like it's just done, you might get a lower price. So it's now done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. So it should do 2 more. There goes one more. So you've got one more to go in, and then that will be your drip lay. So it's just a way of not spooking the market. If you've got a decent sized bet to go in and you don't just want to expose your hand or put it all in at once, then you can just go and drip it in nice and slowly. Or if it's a bit volatile, it'll get you a bit better average price as well. It's also a good way, is rather than laying it here for £50 and then seeing the price drop, if it does drop when you've only put in 2 of the 10 bets, you'll get the lower price down here. Much easier to get out of the position if you don't really fancy it. So that's what the drip feed tool does. OCO is interesting. It just means order cancels order. So let's say I'm going to go and lay this horse for, I'll just go and do it for £10, meat, okay? So now what I'm going to tell the software to do is if Meep Meep is greater than, let's just say 6, then I want you to back me £5 at, you can either put in a price or you can just go last traded price plus or minus 1. I'll do that. And then the other way, if it trades less than 2, then you want to back £15 at, let's just put in 1.9 and then submit. So now what will happen is one of those two orders will happen. If this horse Meep Meep trades above 6, then it will submit my back bet to get me out of the trade for a win and cancel the other one. If it does go below 2, however, it will submit the stop loss and put it in at 190 and get me out of the trade. So let's just keep an eye on this price here and see what happens. The horse is currently sitting in, let's see where it is. He's sitting in 5th spot and he's pushing along. So I think our back bet's going to get matched first. I think he'll trade above 6 before he goes odds on, this guy. He's really starting to push him now. So it goes up to 5. There it goes 6, and you see it's got us out of the trade. And now the other stop loss has cancelled. So that's what the order cancels order tool does, all right? And then the stop entry tool does this. It's quite cool. I'm going to go and set this on the second favourite. Oh, it's too late. This race is over. I'll show you that one on the next race. So we'll go to the next race because this Millie of Mayo's won. Let's go and have a look at the race at Ayr. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this Chase the Dollar, okay? And this is a good race to do it on. It's good to do this on the flat racing when the market can move really, really quickly and it's moving really fast. So Mike's just asked to see again what the tick offset and the percentage is. It's really simple. If I've got it set to ticks, then it will do how many ticks. So if I set it to 1, then I lay, it'll offset at 1 tick, which it's just done. If I set it to say 10% and I lay, it'll offset at 10% higher than the price. Okay? So that's how it works. So if you wanted to do a back to lay, then you would go and do it that way. So what I'm going to do with this quickly, now that this race has started, I'm going to do a stop entry on this favourite Chase the Dollar. Okay? And I'm going to tell the software that if Chase the Dollar trades higher than 12, I want to lay £5 at 15 and I submit. So now my bet's in. So if this price here trades above 12, the second it trades at 12.5, BetTrader will submit a bet in at 15 and it should catch it flying out. What this does is when you've got a short favourite, it's a way of getting a bet in on a horse that's flying out really quick and it's just too fast for you to do so. So I'm going to go and just trade out of this here. And then if it doesn't trade above 12, then no bet will be submitted. So the horse is in front at the moment, but he's getting pushed. I think he's going to get beat by this thing in pink. So watch this price here. The pink one's fighting. He's fighting back the fave, but I think he's got him covered. So watch what happens when it goes above 12, if it does. It might be too late, or he might just hang on. No, I think he's got him. Has he got him? What a great race. Oh, that favourite, it won, so the bet didn't submit. So I'll do it on the next race for you. But what it did there was the second favourite, this Pythagoras, just pushed it within half a length all the time. So go and find the next race and I'll show you how that one works. So it probably won't work on this one. It's more for sprints, but I'll just show you what it does anyway. So if I go and put in on this favourite on the stop entry, Louis Van Zandt, And then if it trades greater than 12, but even what you could do here is put, if it trades greater than 7, then lay £5 at, you can put 7.2 if you want. But if it's flying out pretty quick, you want to get a bit above it. You can put 10, you can put anything. I could go and put like 25, because what Betfair will do is as soon as this trades above 7, even though my bet will submit at 25, Betfair will give you the best execution. So even if it's trading, if it touches 7.2 and comes back to 6, your bet will submit and you'll get matched at 6. So you can often get matched at a lower price than this one, which is great. If you're laying the horse, the lower the price you can get it. But what it will never do is lay the horse higher than your exit. So I'm just going to set this one at, say, 10. And then if this horse here trades for 1 penny at 7.2, then I can even put it at 6.8. So now, as soon as this horse trades at 7 for 1 penny, my bet will get fired in at 10. And it's just a way of catching a horse that's just doing this on the ladder as the on-track traders lay it, and it moves out too quick for you to be able to do it. All right. So you can go and do that in liability mode as well. If you've got it set to liability mode, I think, let's go and find out. I'll go and try it. I'll just do it right now so that we can find out if it will. I've never done it. So what I'm going to do is tell this, if it trades greater than 2.76, then lay the horse, lay £5 at 10 for me, and I'll submit. So now if this horse trades 278, it should submit the bet for us at 10, but we won't get matched at 10. We'll get matched much lower. We just need this to go up 2 ticks and we'll be able to see it in action. So it's just got to trade greater than 276. But I can go and change that if I want to, oh, there it goes. So see, it's gone in. So it traded at 278. See, it's just touched there. And then it's put the lay bet in for £5 at 278. So it didn't change it to liability. Mike, it's done it for the £5. So no, the tool can't be done in liability. So you'd need to work out your liability first. So if you only wanted to lay a maximum of £5, then you would go and do it for, about, say, £3 at 2.8 would be pretty close. So we'll do that again, and we'll see it's traded 278. If it trades above 276, and you see it's submitted £3 there at 278 for a liability of £5.34, that's close enough. That's okay. No problem there at all. All right, so that's the stop entry tool. This chaser tool, I don't really know why it's there, what it does. I never use it. Don't use it. I'll show you what it does. You can just go how much ticks to move. So let's say 2 ticks, and then it'll ask you seconds to wait before moving again. Let's set it to 5, and then number of ticks to move. Let's set it to 20. Okay, so that's now active on Louis Van Zandt. So if I go and put a bet in here, say for £25 at 250, what should happen is every 5 seconds that should jump up 2 ticks. So there it goes to 254. Then it will go to 258, and it will only move 20 ticks. So it should only move up to 290, because obviously you've got 2p a tick, so that's 40p. 250 plus 40p is 290. And you can just set that to chase every 2 seconds. So what it's doing, it's chasing the price up as it goes. Obviously, when the price retracts, it'll catch your bet. But I would just do it all manually. But if you wanted to set that tool, then you can set it. So it'll go to 290 and stop. So it should just stop there now, because that's our 20 ticks, and wait for it to come back. Okay, so that's what the chaser tool does. So that's all the tools. We'll go back over to live mode and show you how they work in running. So we've got a 2 mile 4 hurdle here in Gowran Park. So we'll go and have a look at that and see how we go. And the first one we'll use is, we'll just go and put the stop loss in. It's not a tool that I recommend you use in running, because I think you'll find you'll get stopped out quite a bit. So I'll just put it in there, and I'll just go and get £5 because I'm just doing some demonstrations here. And this one's come right down low. So we'll go and put one in here, and you'll see you're sort of looking for it to pop up, and it stopped you out already. That's why you don't sort of use it. Before the race even starts, you're stopped out. But at least it worked. Look, it's hedged it, so you're out. What can happen, the danger of using a stop loss in running is this price could drop. If this favourite falls, say, then this price of 8 will drop to 5 or 4. And if you've got a stop loss in here, it will just crash right through your stop loss and it won't get you out. That's why I always advocate being a manual trader. You do everything manually. This is not a bot. This is not automated software. It's got some stuff in there that can be a bit helpful and help with a bit of discipline. Say pre-race, you put one in there and it shows you, right, if it gets down to here, I'm going to get out. Because some people have trouble doing that manually, as we discussed last week in the 100 Club when we looked at trading mindset all week. If I've just got the software to get me out, if that's hit, then there's no psychological pressure to do so. If I have to physically click this button when it gets down there, that can stop some people. Think, oh, I'll just wait and see if it comes back, and it gets down to here. You think, it'll bounce back now, and then it comes down to here. So you're mentally tortured working out when to get out. Whereas if you just leave that there, if it hits it, you're out. So see if it takes me out again here. And then there's no pressure. You just let the bet trader do it for you like that. Okay? But you see here it's put the stop loss in, but it didn't match it. So if that price had kept going then, I still would have been looking at that loss. So that's your stop loss tool. So the one I like using in running is the tick offset tool. I'll go and change it back to 3 ticks, and I'll set it back to tick, and I'll activate it. So now I like looking for gaps. So I can see this guy here is at the back of the field. So there's not going to be a lot of people wanting to back him early off. He's sitting third last at the moment. There's no money there to back him. So if my lay bet goes in, the back bet should go in. I'll go and tick that as hedged as well. So I'll just get out of that one because I didn't have the hedged ticked. So I'll go and start that again. So I'm just looking for little gaps where there are, like, there's sort of one here, this Doyen Dancer, no money here to back. So you can see if we get matched, it offsets there at 8.4. And now we can go back over to this guy that's at the back because we've got that little gap there again. It's all a bit quiet at the moment. There's a big field and it's very early in the race. Not a lot happening. You can go and get, look, there's little gaps over here, like there's no money between, say, 28 and 40. So if you get matched, it'll offset quite quickly. But in these sort of early days here, there's not a lot of gaps there for you now. It's usually a lot more when the on-track traders are active. And of course, they're not at the moment. So there's a lot less money in the market and it's not moving as quickly. These would normally be just bouncing up and down. So they're not really happening today. So this guy, I don't know why the market's drifted him so much. He's not really going that well. I'll just go and do that stop entry as well. I'll show you on that favourite. So if this favourite trades above 10, I'm just going to go and lay £2 to show you how it works at 15. Okay. So if he trades greater than 10, this guy, then I'm going to go and get I'll get a bet submitted. The reason this Doyen Dancer's come down is because he's leading. I'll just go and get the race up so you can see it, but I'll just leave the sound off. Okay, so that's the green and red one in front, which is why he's come down in price. But there's no real need for him to have come down in price because the others are not trying to go past him at the moment. So you're seeing there's some gaps here that we can just go and fill in until the race really sort of starts to develop. So it's looking like a bit of a 3-horse race at the moment. The rest are all, a lot higher. We've just had those £3 matched over here on this fella. And this leader now is starting to drift quite a bit. There's a nice bet. Look, 6.6 jump in. And as soon as it's matched, it sort of just pops back up and can take you. Now we're getting a bit of movement because we're sort of getting near halfway through the race. I tend not to stay in too long, but as you can see, nothing's really happening in the race. There's nothing they're not really starting to try yet. So now they're starting to try. What I would do at this point is I would go and turn my tick offset off and I'd look for one more trade. I'm just going to have a look at this leader here and see how he is compared to the favourite. So the favourite's just sitting outside of him at the moment. Now he's gone past him. So I'm going to go and lay that horse if I can at 8. May have just missed it, 13, 14, 15, 17. It's gone. So I'm going to cancel that. And it looks between these two now. But at this stage, you don't want to get involved. There's only a couple of jumps to go. You can now see the horses are going flat out. So if they're going to make a mistake, this is when they'll make it. And the problem is, it looks like you can lay this second one, right, because he's a mile in front. But if this guy falls at the last fence or the second last, this horse goes 101 and there's no recovery. You can't get out of that trade. So you don't want to be in at the end of the race. Okay, so are there any questions on how the stop loss or the tick offset tool wins? Obviously, we didn't get the stop entry one matched because that favourite at no point went above 10. Okay, so we'll go and have a look at market raising. So just see if we've got some questions. Can you have tick offset set in that mode? The problem with liability mode is, I'll show you one of the pitfalls of it. Here it is. Let's say that I'm prepared to lose £50, okay, in liability mode. And I'll do it on this one as well because it might show it better. If I go and do liability mode at 4.8, you see it only puts a back bet in of 13. But if I go and do a back bet for liability mode, it puts in 50 because the liability on a £50 bet is 50. So it puts the back bet in. So the best way to use liability mode is lay in it, but make sure you use this hedge column because then it will only put in 1263 as the offset to what you've done. So if you're doing a few lay bets and you think, oh, I'll just go and back this thing now, bang, it will put in 50. You see how the number changes? It goes 11 point something, but then it works out it's a back bet. So that was 1042 and it puts in a 50, 962, but it puts in a 50. So you've just got to be really wary that liability mode on a back bet will do the amount that you're backing. Because the reason I take the tick offset off halfway through the race is the way, if you've got the in-running guide, you would know the answer to that question. What I do in these jumps races, like this one, is in the first half of the race when nothing's happening, they're just playing follow the leader and they're just popping over hurdles. There's no position changes. They're just following each other. With the on-track traders, you see these gaps. This horse here would be going up to 6, down to 4. It'd be bouncing and I'd be in and out. What I do at halfway is when the pressure starts to come on, I don't want to be in my tick offset anymore because I'm looking to lay one. So I'll go over here and I'll turn it off. And then next time I go to lay a horse like that, because I think it's beat, I don't want the tick offset coming in here. I want the horse flying out to here and so I can take a tenner. Does that make sense? So Paul said, could you use the stop entry along with tick offset so it trades you out if you get matched? Yeah, why would you do that? I mean, you can, But if I want this horse here, I want to lay it. If it goes up to 10, I'm doing it because I think, well, if this horse here that's trading at 6-4, if it trades at 10-1, it's beat. So I want to lay it. If you then go and set a tick offset 2 ticks higher, you're just going to go and lay the horse and then back it 2 ticks higher and make a few pennies on a horse that's beaten. So I think it's a waste of time doing that. You just wouldn't bother. But I mean, if you wanted to, you can. But again, don't limit yourself, Paul. Like if you got a tick offset, it's going to give you that tick offset. Don't be afraid to just do it manually. If I've got a tick offset, even say 10 ticks, and this horse here trades at 5 and puts me in at 10 ticks, it's going to get me out at 6, right? It's going to just put the bet in there. But why let it do that? Because if it flies up, you might get out here and go, oh, look, there, I'm out, £8. Don't think that you're any safer or any better trader because I've done the tick offset, it'll be right, it'll get me out. You're just costing yourself money. Just have confidence that I'm only laying this horse because I think it's beaten. If I'm right, the price is going to shoot up. So I'm not going to limit myself to 10 or 20 ticks. And also, if you limit yourself to, say, 30 ticks and it puts the bet in up here, what happens if the horse gets to here and you think, oh, he's starting to come back, he's going well, I'll just get out. You could just click that and get out. Whereas, again, if you let the thing do it automatically for you, you're going to cost yourself money because it could come up here and sit and you're looking at it waiting. And there's so often I'll just go, well, it's not going to give me 13.5, so I'll just take 9.8. Bang, I'm out. Just do it manually. You'll be a much better trader. No, I can't change my mouse cursor, mate. It's Zoom. It's just black. Everyone on the planet's got it, so it won't change. All right, so this race is about to start, so we'll go and see how we go with it in live mode. And then we'll probably look at maybe one more race after this and we'll go back to the cricket. England have lost no further wickets. They're 94 for 4. Brooks is on 25. Blackwood's on 38. And it now gets into a really interesting time for England because now the ball's old. It's 30 overs old, so they've got to deal with this old ball for another 50 overs and then see if they can get the wickets with the second new ball. All right, so I'm going to just turn the sound on here so I can hear what's going on. I'll get the pictures up for you guys so you can see them. So just checking, the favourite there is Black Anthem in the white with the purple sleeves. The second favourite, Simply Lovely, is the one at the back here in the green. Valley Crystal is what's it called? Valley Crystal Court is in the blue and yellow there at the front. Scaramucci looks like a colour change for Scaramucci. So number 5, he's actually in this blue with the white cap here. He's not green and red. There's Scaramucci there, blue and red, the 5 there. And Anti-Cool is in second position here at the moment. And the McManus colours ever so much here on the outside. So I'm going to go and get the tick offset. We've got it set to 3. And we just look for some little gaps here. So this Scaramucci should have one here. He's just done terrible. He's sitting right at the back here and he just near pulled his head off. So I was a little bit slow on that one. But we should be all right just in here now. So all I do now is just keep an eye on how they're all going, see who's in front. So the favourite's sitting in 4th here. The second favourite is just in front of mine, which is last. He's just taken a load of air there. And then the Valley Crystal Court is right up the front there. And they're all just jogging. So what you'll see here is you see they just play follow the leader. Nobody's trying to win the race at the moment. Nobody's trying to go past anything else. The market's just looking at who's going well, who's not going well. all that sort of stuff. This guy's just really struggling at the back. So I might even, at this stage of the race, turn the tick offset off and just put a lay in on that one at the back. He's jumping like a busted bicycle. And now he's really pushing him along. So if I get that 25, I should be right. So you see him struggling at the back here already. But he's getting a bit high to lay now, so I'm just going to forget that and see if he just comes back on the bit. I'll move him out the way and we'll go back to looking for our ticks. So we're sort of looking for some gaps. There's a little gap here on this leader. See, there's no money there to back it. But he shouldn't drop in price because he's not trying to forge ahead and there's nothing trying to go past him. The price will just bounce around here. So here he is sitting up in the front here, but you see nothing else is really trying. So that Scaramucci's come back. And if this horse here goes past him, then ours will lift up and we'll get matched, which it looks like he's just done. So I'm surprised that we haven't come up from 6. Oh, he's still in front. That's why. Okay. So he's just still jogging along in front there. Favourite's just cruising here in 3rd. Now, one of the dangers of the tick offset tool, one of the bad sides, is you see I've got these bets in here at the moment. And if this horse falls, they're going to get matched instantly. Whereas you wouldn't really want them to. You'd want them to be sort of, if, you don't want that matched and that matched now until it comes back up to that price. So I'm happy to take them out. So I'm just checking on this favourite. He's going really well behind this leader. There's no reason for this leader to be dropping as much as he is. So I'm going to go and put one more in here. Now they're coming up alongside him. Favourite's still cruising in behind, and he's only dropped because he's still sitting in front. But he's not really coming up the way we want now, so I'm going to just jump out of him here because he's starting to come down a bit. So we'll go and get out of that. We'll turn our tick offset off now. Now I'm looking at these 3 front runners, and I'm looking at just laying one of them. So see if they're going to come up and catch him. I'll watch this next jump. He's jumped that well. Second horse outside of him's jumped well. Favourite struggling. That's the one I want to lay. I'm on liability mode. That's disappointing. So I've laid this favourite. He's struggling back here in 4th in the white. Look at him bouncing up and down on him. And let's just see this jump, how they go. Another bad jump by the fave, really getting pushed along now. So see if we can get out here at 10.5. Now see, there we go, we're out. So we'll just leave that now. We can trade out of this one, this Ballycrystal, and the job's done. Now you see they're all starting to try. Just make this a bit bigger for you. Now they're all flat out, and this is where mistakes can be made and where you don't really want to be. I don't know what's happened there. I'll just shut that and open it again. Sorry about that. Where you don't want to be involved at the end, because now under pressure, if a mistake's made, then you're in trouble. This favourite's coming back. So happy to have been out of him at 10.50. Looks like he's going to come back and win. This is why you trade out. Even though they look beaten, they can always come back, particularly if other horses fall. This favourite looks a good thing now. And yet we got out of him just before halfway at, we laid him at 365 when he was really struggling, out of him at 10.5, and he's going to win by 15 lengths running away. So he just had a bit of a mid-race glitch there. All right. So that's the in-running tick offset tool, which is what we do all winter pretty much, just trading the jumps racing. Very, very difficult to do that on flat racing. So I don't recommend it. I would just say use manual trades on the flat racing. So we'll see if we've got another flat race for you before we go. Do 320 at Ayr. It's a good flat race. So what we'll try and do here, we've got a really good one here, is you've got a horse at 7.4, 8.4, 7, 6.8 and 7. So we've got a minute to go before the race. We can pretty well see what's happened. This Hatchet has drifted. You can see Swinging Eddie's been backed. I'll go and get the graphs up to show you. Because on the left-hand side of the horse, you can see where the money's matched. And anything right down the bottom of its range here has been backed. And anything at the top is drifting. So you see this Hatchet has drifted. And there it is. So you don't really need the graph to see what's happened. And this favourite's drifted a little bit as well, Jack Randall. So you see he was level most of the day, and then just the last hour or so, he started to drift pretty heavily there. And this Swinging Eddie, as we say, has been backed. Alanto, he's been backed a little bit. Jesse Allen's been backed, mainly because these two favourites have both drifted. So if they're both drifting, then obviously the market, the rest of it, has to come back down. So the market doesn't like either of these. So all I'd try and do in this race is identify 2 or 3 of them, and it doesn't really matter. You can pick any of these 5 horses, 6 horses, they're all the same price. So what I would try and do is wait for the start, identify which one of them has come out last or near last, hover my mouse over that one, and then if I can confirm that it's showing signs of distress before any of the others, I'll lay it. But while my mouse is sitting here, I will be looking for the others to see where they are and how they're travelling. And I might say, oh, look, Legenda's started to push there, and just move my mouse, click, and I'm in. So we'll just wait and see what we do. Mike, I wouldn't be even contemplating doing lay the field until the on-track traders are back on, because they're the ones that match your bets. Lay the field can be very deadly when you don't, have the on-trackers there, because you don't know who's going to match you. But we're just about to start, so I'll go and get this race up for you. And again, I'll just keep the sound off so I can hear the race, and you guys can just sort of follow what's going on with me talking. So I'm just going to go and turn that on. I just like listening to the pre-race stuff, because what can happen is you get some really good information from them, and you can, they'll say, oh, well, this horse, he's not run for 350 days and he'll need the run. He doesn't really go that well, that sort of stuff. So you just sort of don't know. That last race that we did, was that was the 310. Was that a horse called Black Anthem that came back and won? Was that the Black Anthem one? I can't remember the name of it. I forget the race as soon as it's finished. But was that horse that we laid and it came back and ended up getting beat? I ended up winning comfortably. That was Black Anthem, was it, Stuart? Because I'm just looking at an email from my mate. I had a tip for that horse. I don't pay any attention to I don't like tips or get tips. I don't back horses to win. I just look at the in-running stuff and see if there's an opportunity in running. Right, here we go. I'm just looking for one to put in a lay and then an exit and see how we go. So this Alento has missed the start quite badly at the back. He's sitting second last at the moment, but you see how the price hasn't come up like I expected. So I'm happy just to trade out of it and not wait for it to come back up. Just take the loss, only a couple of quid. You'd rather lose that than lose 70. We got another chance to lay him in a minute. I only get in because I think the price is going to shoot up. So this favourite's leading, so that's handy. And now I'm just sort of watching Alento at the back here. I can see Legenda is starting to push down. There's the one I want. Legenda. He should rise up. There he goes. He didn't go up as high as I wanted, so I'll just jump out there at 19.5. It all froze there for a minute. Did you see that? Here he is here on the outside, scrubbing away really badly. So there, we're out of that one. You don't want to get involved now. It's a bit late. You're right at the finish line. Looks like it's going to be a good finish. Favourites beat. This pink thing. This Aliento's coming. Look at him, this blue thing, but he's not going to win. And that Hatchet goes on to win. So it wasn't a huge win, but it's just to show you sort of how it works. We laid this horse here, Legenda, at 10.4. You can see over here, and we got out of him at 19.5. And the reason the win's a bit smaller is because we took this £2.50 loss on Aliento when his price didn't go up. So otherwise it would have been a fiver for your £10 bet. So you lay a tenner, doubles in price, you win a fiver. But you see that Aliento, he came down. We'll just go and have a quick look at what price he traded in running. He got down to 198. So it was definitely the right decision to trade out of him, because if you'd stayed in him when you'd laid him at 8.2 and he trades odds on, you can see him here in the dark blue, just behind. There he is in there. And if he gets that split, which he gets now, then he came down to odds on. So you're better off just taking a couple of quid loss and doing something else than sticking in a trade and only getting out when it goes green. Because if that thing had gone on to win, you've lost 72 quid and you're looking at the next couple of hours chipping away to try and get it back. Yeah, I think everybody's ladder froze, Damien. What sometimes can happen is you just get a bit of an API glitch, and it happens to everyone. So that would have happened to BetAngel users and Gruss and all of them. So it's just the API can get a bit sticky. So it's just something to keep an eye on. If it keeps doing it regularly, then there's the potential there for a bit of a crash and they might just need to reset it. So you just be a bit wary and pay attention to how many times it's happened. That's the first time I've noticed it today, so I wouldn't be worried at this stage. But if it happened like 5 or 6 times between 6 o'clock and now, I'd be like, yeah, it's getting a bit dodgy. Just be careful. But so that's that. So guys, that's going to bring the Bet Trader lesson to an end for today. That is how you use the tools. If you've got any further questions on them, please feel free to ask me in the Telegram rooms, or you can drop me an email, or you can just email support@racingtraders.co.uk. The link there is on the homepage of Bet Trader. Now, most of that stuff you'll be able to do in the other software as well. So you can do most of those tips and tricks in any of them. But I hope that's helped, given you a few ideas, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Go and watch the big climax in the cricket, see if England can get these final 6 wickets. I've stuck with it for 5 days saying they can't, so I'm not going to change my mind now. And I'm going to back the West Indies to hold out this afternoon. All right, so enjoy your day and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks again. Bye for now.